Hey there, and welcome to Ruthfull's Art Corner. I'm your host, Ruthfull, also known as Ruthfull LA. Check out my live stream on Twitch, follow me on Instagram, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for all kinds of art-related content. Today's art chat is going to actually be about NFTs. Why is it going to be about NFTs? Well, NFTs were recently in the news for an interesting reason, and so I thought, well, this is a good opportunity to dive into it. Now, there's a lot to cover with NFTs, and I just want to say first and foremost that I am not an expert. Okay, I did a couple hours worth of research for this little presentation that I will be giving. Maybe more than a couple, but not a lot. So if there's stuff that I am getting wrong, you can let me know. Please be nice, be kind. I'm always down for helpful hints. I'm not too worried about it right now, but hey, if someone comes across this video later and has some strong things to say, take a breath. The world will not end just because I've misunderstood the difference between mining and minting or something like that. But please feel free to politely and kindly educate me, because this is a growing experience. So, I'm down to learn. Let's talk about art news. Art news! Ruthfull's Art Corner sparks an art revolution. Yeah! At least that's what I'm hoping. We got NFTs today. That is what we are going to be covering because thieves stole NFTs. A gallery owner called Todd Kramer had 15 NFTs stolen from his hot Ethereum wallet, including 4 Bored Ape Yacht Club works. You can see here one of those 4. That's Bored Ape Yacht Club. This is an interesting story for a number of reasons. Let's find out how they did it. So a phishing scam supposedly gave the thieves access to Kramer's wallet where the NFTs were stored. However, OpenSea, the NFT marketplace, helped Kramer recover the stolen NFTs with the help of the buyers. So ultimately it worked out for the guy. He got his stuff back. Let's go back a step and talk about NFT wallets. A hot wallet is one that is constantly connected to the internet, while a cold wallet is one that is not connected to the internet at all times. It's only connected when it's making a transaction. That's the exception to the rule. Other than that, not connected to the internet. That is obviously much more secure, though I imagine if you are someone who is buying and selling a lot, then it might be cumbersome to have to connect it and disconnect it. I don't know. Now we're getting into the area where I don't know a whole lot about what's going on there. Oh, you're not an expert either. It's JC. That's good. Because yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm trying to know. I'm learning and growing. Isn't that what it's all about? All right. So now that we know what an NFT wallet is, what is an NFT? It is a non-fungible token. Now, the mushroom that's there, that's just for being silly. That's not what fungible means, but I thought it was a fun little joke. Fungible is able to replace or be replaced by another identical item. Mutually interchangeable. So by being non-fungible, it's essentially a legalistic way to say unique. There's only one of it. Now, an NFT is a unique, as I mentioned, cryptocurrency token that can take the form of anything digital. It allows you to buy and sell ownership of unique digital items and to keep track of who owns what through the blockchain. Who owns what? Who's on first? NFTs are bought and sold through a marketplace or platform, and there are many, like OpenSea, which I already mentioned, Nifty Gateway, and SuperRare. I believe Nifty Gateway is owned by the Wasselman twins of the Facebook fame. It's JC says, personally, I would see NFTs best used for digital IDs. It would allow it to have a way to prove our identity or age to websites, apps, games, etc. I mean, I agree. I think it would be neat to basically be able to buy a unique avatar and then use it on all sorts of different websites and places. There are avatars that you can buy as NFTs, but I don't know if you can then put it on Facebook as your avatar and put it in this game, you know, etc. I don't know if you can use it outside of the wallet where it is stored, or maybe a place like Decentraland, which is an online gallery space that is kind of like Occupy White Walls, but also not at all, not at all like it. One of the biggest differences is that there's only one instance of each artwork rather than as many as you want per gallery. That's just one of many ways in which Decentraland and Occupy White Walls are different, and maybe I'll do an episode later where I dive deep just in that. I did set up a Decentraland account, a guest account, however, because I don't have a wallet to connect as yet, but I hope to be able to show that to you all as well through this stream. But NFTs used only to claim that you are owner of an artwork. It doesn't really feel good to me. I have the feeling it's trying to fake reality in a space not working with the same rules. I mean, it's a strange thing, especially, I would agree with you there, because if let's say I own the NFT to a piece of art, what if somebody right clicks on it? I mean, I have gotten a couple examples in this little slideshow here that I just right clicked on. Now that might be breaking some kind of internet rules, but it's not like I can't do it. So them having the NFT doesn't prevent me from doing it. I have noticed some NFTs give the owner of the NFT the right to commercial license. So if you want to, you know, sell the license to Coca-Cola to put it on their bottles, you can. And then other NFTs, the owner does not have commercial license. So it seems like every artwork is different. Perhaps different platforms have different rules. This is now getting, once again, farther into the details that I don't yet have, but I will look into. But at least as it currently stands, it does feel a little flimsy, just because it's a digital ownership of a thing that only exists digitally, because if it exists physically, either you own it or you don't, you know, it's one of those things. It's kind of like a digital certificate of authenticity, but it's also not. It's a thorny conversation. But, you know, it's interesting. Definitely interesting. Definitely interested to learn more. Okay, so going back to what NFTs are, many of them are pieces of digital art. However, they can be anything from music to a TV show to a tweet. In fact, actress Mila Kunis has crowdfunded an animated TV series called Stoner Cats by selling NFTs that essentially gave collective ownership, membership, maybe, unclear, in the show. She sold 10,000 NFTs for approximately $800 each in just over 30 minutes, making over $8 million with which to actually produce the show. The show didn't exist at that point. If you're not that familiar with the way Hollywood works with animated films, often what happens is the creators will make a short and then use that to try to get funding to create the full-length whatever, whether it's a movie or a series or etc. But in this instance, it sounds like it just went straight to crowdfunding, and $8 million should be enough for them to make a show, I would hope. I know they have some big name talent involved, but, you know, hopefully $8 million is still enough for their voices. I would love to see the show personally. It's called Stoner Cats. I mean, I have a cat cam here on my channel. What? You guys want to go to the cat cam? Okay. Here you go. Here's the cat cam. But yeah, I agree with you. The issue is the certificate can be made for things we don't have rights if the thing hasn't been claimed yet in the blockchain. So the door is open to a lot of abuse. I'll get to that a little more in just a sec, but I agree there's a lot of areas for potential abuse in the NFT world. So it's definitely on the platforms, I think, to try to stamp out abuse wherever possible. But being aware of it is very important. Going back to the Stoner Cats show, it's only going to be available to the NFT holders, at least for now. So that's kind of a bummer. I mean, in the traditional model, if a show gets made, everybody gets to see it. Well, I suppose it definitely depends on what channel it airs. If it's on HBO, you have to have a subscription. If it's on Disney Plus, again, you gotta have a subscription. So I guess it's still the same. Here's hoping that they release it to the broader public after some time has worn off, so that the owners slash members get first crack at watching it, but then everybody else gets to watch it too. NFT as past access special contents. Yes, so that's actually movie premieres, game betas, VIP content would be awesome. I agree. And one of the Migos guys, I think his name is Takeoff, they've recently got very into NFTs. They're minting a 10,000 work collection. That's something I'll get to in a second, the obscene amount of works in each collection. But if you become a member of this exclusive club by having this limited edition NFT, you can potentially gain access to private virtual concerts and that sort of thing. So that's definitely starting to come to pass. That's very cool. And just like things like Kickstarter and Patreon kind of upended how creative folks get their funding a couple years ago, it is definitely an industry disruptor. And so that's pretty cool. Let's talk about the pros and cons of NFTs. And this is not a comprehensive list. There will be many more things. Yes, the only thing I don't like about NFTs really is the speculation part. I agree. I had someone explain it to me recently that now these bigger collections, they sell for what they sell because of the hype. But if you're new to the NFTs, there is essentially nothing stopping you from creating a wallet, putting your NFTs on there, creating another wallet, selling it to yourself, selling it again, etc., and thus inflating the value. And all you needed was a little bit of seed money to start, and now it's starting to spiral. And then someone else comes along and is like, oh wow, this thing is worth tens of thousands of dollars, I'm gonna buy it. And then nobody else wants to buy it from them, so now they get stuck holding the bag. So I think that's what you meant by the speculation part, JC. And I agree, there does seem to be some opportunity for fraud there. So no easy answers coming from me on that front. All right, let's go over some pros. So the proponents of NFTs claim that it democratizes art. Anyone can make art, especially since it is now digital, mostly digital. Artists can make more art because oftentimes what's happening with these big collections, 10,000 works, etc., they're essentially remixing a bunch of elements over and over. So in a way, is it art? As an artist who works generally in a very physical sense, not digital sense, there's a part of me that cringes at the thought of essentially copying and pasting a bunch to make art. But hey, I also do not claim to be someone who can make a definitive statement on what is art and what is not art. So I'm just gonna shrug the shoulders on that one and keep going on these pros. So because artists can make more art, more people can own art. Not only is it appealing to a new crowd of art owners, potential art owners, it also just means that there is more of it by volume. Now, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. I don't know. Let's find out in a couple of years. Will this go the same way as the... Oh, now I can't think of it. I was going to reference that 90s Tamagotchi. Is that what it was? The little digital pets that everybody cared about for like a year and then everybody let die in a drawer. Anyway, that took a turn. Let's move on. Another pro of NFTs is that it gets rid of the gatekeepers. Does it though? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping still happening. Yes, Tamagotchis, that's what they were. Yes, I definitely neglected mine after a point. Again, with gatekeepers, basically it's getting rid of some gatekeepers in exchange for other gatekeepers. Let's not forget that certain NFTs are being sold at auction houses like Christie's and Sotheby's, so traditional gatekeepers are there in force. Also, just this idea of because you own it, now you have membership in this club and you get special perks. That in itself is gatekeeping, right? Now, it's also building a community, but by definition, it's gatekeeping. So, mixed feelings on that particular statement. It is new and exciting, and it's bringing art into the metaverse more so, just like Occupy White Walls and a couple of other games do. The metaverse being this whole nebulous everything in which we are online doing stuff. Hey, I'm on the metaverse right now because I am in one place beaming content to you in another place. So it's continuing the conversation on art, so that's always a good thing. And like I said, it is getting certain people into art and art collecting who might not have been into it before. So that's always a good thing. Bringing more people to the table, I'm on board for that. Usually, as far as I'm aware, the creators will get a % of each sale of the artwork, not just the first one. So that's actually kind of cool and a point in favor for NFTs over traditional artworks, mainly because let's say my Apocalypse Meow back there, that print, I did a painting and then I made a print. Somebody buys that, I get paid one time. They turn around and sell it, they get paid for it, but I don't get anything for them selling it. My works in general go up in value every time a piece sells for more, and that's the way that the art world works. But with NFTs, I would get a percentage every time it gets sold. And so the more it's worth, the more I am getting each time. It's almost like residuals as an actor. So that's pretty cool. Just wanted to mention that one. All right, so the cons. Number one, at least in my book, the environmental concerns. We'll go over that a little bit more in a moment, but that's a pretty important one. Then there is the money laundering angle. So since the wallets are anonymous, nobody knows whose money it is. And that means it could be anybody's money. It could be money from selling weapons illegally. It could be drug money. It could be human trafficking money. We don't know. We don't know where it comes from, and so therefore there's no controlling it, right? It's not like OpenSea is going to personally vet every single buyer that signs up on their site. That's just ridiculous. This is the one we were just talking about. It's JC, the fraud issues. So from identity of the artist to the inflating of the values via pump and dump, there's just a lot of opportunity for fraud, and so that is a big con when it comes to NFTs. A lot of these large collections are created by collectives, so it's not just one artist, but sometimes it'll be like 3 or 4 artists. And there was one recently that was supposed to be like female empowered, and it just came out that everybody who was involved was a guy. It was definitely some false advertising, and I think a lot of people felt screwed over. You know, they thought they were buying art by female artists, and they weren't. Now, another con, no regulation, kind of covers a lot of those things, money laundering, fraud, etc. There's kind of no one to turn to when things go sideways. Now, that wasn't the case with Mr. Kramer. He was able to get his artworks back through OpenSea's intervention, but a lot of NFT folks are upset about that. They think that was not cool on the part of OpenSea, that OpenSea shouldn't be meddling with what goes on the blockchain. The fact that the buyers of the art were involved, I think also is an important point. It's not like OpenSea reversed the transactions. They just helped locate the people who currently had the art and then, I don't know, paid them the current asking price to return it. I actually don't know the particulars of how the buyers were involved, but I did read an article that said that the buyers of the art after it was stolen were involved in the returning of it. So there you go. Also, it is exclusive and often involves memberships. Now, that's very cool for the people who are on the inside of the club, but for those of us who just can't get in, you know, that's unfortunate. And especially when it comes with this idea that it's democratizing art and yet it's making it exclusive at the same time. I mean, in some ways, museums are very exclusive, and in other ways, a lot of them are free to the public or are for very low amounts of money given the amount of content that you get to enjoy while you're there. So there you go. All right. I feel like I got a little sidetracked. So let's get on with the environmental issues. Oh, I see I got a comment from JC. The fact a lot of big companies start to abuse of that already because the lack of laws is really sad and frightening. I agree. I think this goes back to that general idea of if there's a way for someone to game a system to get more than everybody else, to take advantage, people will do it. That is just, sadly, I think it's part of human nature. I think some people will do it. I think there are a lot of people who, even when nobody's looking, will still return their shopping cart at the grocery store to the cart return area. But there are also a lot of people who will try to see what they can get away with. I agree, it is sad and frightening. And so there's got to be some kind of laws. I know certain people want it to remain the wild, wild west, but folks wanted that in the wild, wild west as well. And then other folks were like, no, we need laws because these cowboys keep robbing our stagecoaches, or these vigilantes keep scalping all of these Indians. Someone needs to put a stop to it. Oh wait, maybe they didn't put a stop to that last part, but whatever. We don't need to get into all of that. In the meantime, let's talk about the environmental issues of NFTs. Going back to what an NFT is, it involves the blockchain, which is a public ledger of the transactions, all of the transactions for that specific cryptocurrency. And in this case, we're talking about Ethereum. Now, the system for mining new blocks for the blockchain is intentionally inefficient, and that's for security and scarcity reasons. So it's designed to be inefficient. It's a feature, not a bug. The proof of work system uses a ton of computing power, which means a lot of energy has to get used in order to do it. Now, the proof of stake system uses less energy. So that is a small amount of information that you are going to get on that front. If you are interested, you should definitely look into more. I'll probably talk about it more in the future. But it's important to know that certain types of mining are more efficient than others. Let's talk about money, because all of this mining is causing all of this carbon emission. Why do it then? Why spend crazy amounts of money on a power bill? Well, because there's a lot of money to be made. Now, OpenSea, as I mentioned earlier, that NFT marketplace that helped Kramer recover the stolen NFTs, it was recently valued at $13.3 billion after a round of funding. Good on them. My goodness, it's only a few years old. I think it was founded in 2016 or 2017, and it's already at 13 billion. My. Now they say they plan to use that funding to expand their customer service and safety, as well as invest in the community. That sounds nice, but what does that actually mean? Now, founder Devin Finzer wrote, in 2021, the world woke up to the potential of NFTs to unlock utility and economic empowerment across a vast set of industries, communities, and creative categories. Our vision is to be the destination for these new open digital economies to thrive. We'll start this year by lowering the barriers to entry to the NFT space on OpenSea and investing in the ecosystem and the community that powers it. So I guess time will tell what's coming from OpenSea and this funding that they have. I suppose if you are currently looking for a job in the digital space, it sounds like they'll be hiring. All right, now let's talk about just a couple of NFT artists and collections that are very popular. That way anyone watching this can come away with a couple of artists that they now can name. So there is Beeple. Beeple had the first NFT artwork to be sold at Christie's, which is the very illustrious auction house. It sold for $69 million in March of 2021. So set a record, and it was also the first. So go ahead, Beeple. Now, the title of that artwork was Every Day's the First 5,000 Days. You can see a tiny little thumbnail of it there on the screen. From what I was able to find on the internet, Beeple has only produced a bit over 800 works as of March 2021. By works, I mean specifically NFTs. We're not counting any paintings or drawings or whatever that any of these artists may have made in the physical world. This is specifically NFTs. That's what these numbers are. Then we have Doodles, which had a recent collection of 10,000 works. We have BYAC, or the Bored Ape Yacht Club. We saw one of theirs at the beginning. They have 10,000 works per collection, and I believe they have 8 collections. I might be making up that number, but I know they have multiple. First there's the regular, then there's mutants, etc. I will show you a few of these in just a bit on the OpenSea website. And then there's Takashi Murakami and RTFKT. They collaborated on a series called Clone X. That one has 20,000 works in it. Wow. There's a cool Medusa avatar. I have a niece who is hugely into Medusa at the moment, so of course I saw that and I wanted to share it. So let's go ahead. I actually just want to show you the Bored Ape Yacht Club page. Here we go. And this is on the OpenSea website. So this is what they look like. And here you can see how much they cost. Now this is the amount in Ethereum, which doesn't sound like a lot, right? This one is worth 0.00069 Ethereum. Interesting. Oh, I see. The owner has set a minimum bid of 666 Ethereum. Makes sense. It's a devil ape there. And as you can see, that translates to $2 million US. Okay, that's wild. That's just wild. But so yeah, you can see here are all these apes. Ultimately, they're the exact same ape, just with different eyes, different skin texture, different background, different clothing, but it's a copy and paste situation. Okay, I do like that one with the propeller hat. Okay, that's pretty cool. But you know, these are really, really expensive. 72 Ethereum, get out of here. Who's got that kind of money for this art? I mean, it's cool, but we're talking about this right here, this monkey with this hat and this tuxedo shirt. It's currently going for 75 Ethereum. Over $200,000. That's a lot. You can see the sale ends today, actually. It ends in 4 hours. So if this is something you are interested in, you should get on there. Get that stuff bought. So I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to show you there. I mean, they're funny. Don't get me wrong. They are funny. They're just, you know, not $200,000 funny. At least in my opinion. Again, art is subjective. Here's that Medusa, a little larger. That's the one by Clone X, Takashi Murakami, who I'm a huge fan of, by the way. I love his super flat art, and it is currently valued at $66,000. So, if you've got $66,000, $67,000 really, if you're rounding up to spare, go ahead and buy it. So, now that you've seen a couple of examples of the NFT marketplace, let's do just our last little bit on NFTs and then we'll wrap it up. We do have a couple of other pieces of NFT news. Ooh, interesting. So Samsung recently announced that they are creating the world's first TV screen-based NFT explorer and marketplace aggregator. So your smart TV will have essentially an app in which you can, I'm assuming marketplace aggregator means you could surf OpenSea, you could surf SuperRare, you could surf whichever one you want, and then buy them all in one place and then display them on your TV. Kind of cool. And then GameStop has announced it will build an NFT marketplace and develop cryo partnerships, including developing blockchain games. Hey you, stop scratching the carpet. What are you trying to do here? Well, he was on Cat Cam earlier, so I guess he decided he needed to keep being relevant, keep being a part of the content. Sassy. It's JC says, I think NFTs will have this first explosion where everyone want one because it's got hype, spend a lot of money inside it, and then it will calm down and a lot of those NFTs won't be worth anything in the end, and only good NFT uses will stay because they would be the more clean to use in the long term. I agree, and I think we will see that. The question is always, when it comes to a bubble, is how long is the bubble going to expand, and who is going to get to make a lot of money during that bubble and who's going to lose a lot of money. So time will tell, right? Thanks for watching this video. I put all of the links down in the description so that you can check them out in your own time. Remember, if you want to chat with me while I deliver this content live, make sure to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/RuthfullLA. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel to help me grow the artsy farts community.